Mark Carney, sworn in as Canada's new Prime Minister, is wasting no time in making his stance clear. The former central banker is heading to Paris and London for his first official trip, a pointed move that deliberately bypasses Washington as tensions with Donald Trump's White House escalate.
It was an inferno. They created an inferno.
In Paris, Carney will meet French President Emmanuel Macron to discuss trade and shared priorities. Then it's off to London, where he'll hold talks with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and meet King Charles III, Canada's head of state, a diplomatic gesture reinforcing Canada's historic ties with NATO allies. But the elephant in the room is Carney's absence in Washington. Trump's return to power has come with a harsh trade war, slapping 25% tariffs on Canadian goods and even floating the idea of Canada becoming the 51st US state. Remarks that have infuriated Canadians and fueled a growing push to reduce economic reliance on the US.
We understand the importance President Trump places on American workers and American jobs. We want him and his administration to understand the importance we put on Canadian workers and Canadian jobs. And we will look for avenues to work together so that both objectives are met in terms of both our great economies.
Instead of rushing to Washington, Carney is charting his own course, emphasizing Canada's ties with Europe. His decision to visit France and Britain, a nod to Canada's roots shaped by French and English settlers alongside Indigenous communities, was a deliberate snub to Trump, reinforcing Canadian sovereignty. A senior official traveling with him put it bluntly, the goal is to double down on alliances beyond Washington. With over 75% of Canada's exports still going to the US, trade diversification has become a national priority under Carney.
And when we get to the economics, then the president is a successful business person and deal maker. We're his largest client in so many industries. As the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Industry, Monsieur Leblanc and Monsieur Champagne have made this point. And clients expect respect and working together in a proper commercial way.
His European ties run deep. As a former Bank of England governor, Carney is no stranger to London's financial world, making this trip part diplomacy, part homecoming. But beyond personal connections, it's a strategic move to shore up economic alternatives to the US. Trump's rhetoric and trade barriers have shifted Canada's political landscape. Carney's decision to skip Washington comes as a stark contrast to the bruising Trump-Trudeau relationship, which often saw Canada on the defensive. This time, Carney is taking a more calculated approach, refusing to meet Trump until there's a clear respect for Canada's independence. That shift in tone is resonating back home. Just months ago, Carney's Liberal Party was struggling in the polls. Now, with Trump alienating Canadian voters, a snap election could be on the horizon, with Carney using this moment to rally national pride. And the defiance doesn't stop with trade. His government is now reassessing major US defense deals, including the F-35 fighter jet purchase, signaling a willingness to step away from long-standing military dependence on Washington. To cement Canada's sovereignty, Carney will also travel to the Arctic, where Trump has shown interest in expanding US influence, even floating the idea of buying Greenland. With Russia asserting its presence in the Arctic, Carney's visit is a clear message. Canada will not be sidelined in the fight for northern dominance. More than just a symbolic trip, Carney's first diplomatic move is a statement of defiance, rejecting Trump's bullying tactics, reinforcing NATO ties, and asserting Canadian independence on the global stage.